that's like my pet peeve about the way that the thing that's happened in the school system. Basically, since the beginning. See, the problem is that they have always socialized us to be less than. After taking a few generations of that, it's a wonder that black children have any self-esteem at all. I mean, it's all the slavery mindset. It's all the mindset of what our captors want us to have. My thing is this. Well, I'm already working on that project specifically. What I'm praying for is that I wind up with some some property. What I really want is some schools, so that for us to purchase and to maybe have to do some renovation work, but I've got the curriculum for everyone, including the language. I mean, I can at this time teach Hebrew from pre-kindergarten all the way to the graduate level college. So thing is though, everyone needs to be a part of it. And it can't just be me by myself trying to fight and make all these programs work, and no one else is cooperating. And that's another great thing, or I should say bad thing, that we learned in slavery. We learned how to fight one another real well. We never learned how to stand up to Whitey because we've always. I mean, look in almost every kitchen or every living room. What do you see? You see a picture of this character by the name of Caesar Borgia. Mm-hmm. Who's he? He's the one who everybody thinks is Jesus or the Christ or whatever they term it, their terminology is now. But the thing is, we as a people have had originally turned to worshiping white. Everybody wants to be white. Everyone wants to, black people bleach their skin. They do all kinds of, all of this stuff, while not even acknowledging the fact that they're melanated. We have the pineal gland, which actually connects to Yahweh to give us instruction, to give us word, it's our spirituality, it's our intelligence. The thing is, we've turned so far away from these things that I'm not saying that we're too far gone. The thing is, where are we for real? Have we had enough of this nonsense of theirs, of the goyim, that we're going to stand up for ourselves and teach our own and be captains of our own souls. That's what I need to know before I delve into a project like this, because this is a life fulfilling kind of thing. I mean, we can't have people who are just going to half step and wind up going at this thing bass accurate. We can't do that. It's way too late for this. I honestly have been thinking that we should have been far ahead of where we are now. But the thing is, we have to get out of the throes of slavery. which most of us are still mentally connected. You know, we're you know, it's too many of us that are still stuck. You know, well, and you know, I don't want to say stuck on stupid, but at the same time, where else are we stuck? I mean, financially, or you know, economically, we're stuck. We don't own a lot of property. We don't. Most of us own the homes that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and even if we do own the homes, you know, we should be learning by now that they have a thing called eminent domain, in which they can come and buy your house right from under you, or actually buy the land your house sits on and choose to have the house removed or destroyed and build their highways or build their strip malls.
Yep, I've seen it done.
That's why I mean, you know, that's where I have a problem. Like we have not, as a nation, progressed to the point that we've just gotten sick and tired of their BS. That's what I'm the most angry at. It's like, come on already, you know, wake up, go like we used to say when I was military, we need to go pop. Pop is the sound of one's cranium emerging from their anal cavity. In case anyone wants to know. We really need to do that because while time is going, time is getting away. We're in what we would, you know, refer to as the last days. I mean, how far are the last days from the end? I mean, you know what I'm saying? We have to do something now. I mean, we can't keep waiting on master and waiting on we have to do things ourselves. We have to make up in our minds that, look, we are going to educate our own children. We're not going to let these evolutionists, which by the way, all those people are what I call pseudoscientists. Pseudo means fake. They're good because look who they're following. Charles Darwin. He's not a scientist. He ain't never been a scientist. Know what he was? He was a theologian. Which means that this whole thing is a religious movement.
It's basically the indoctrination of their sorcery. That's really what it is, you know. And so, and you really cannot keep going to the wrong people and expecting for them to do the right thing. These people are not law keepers. They are not acknowledging our Elohim. They do not acknowledge our culture. They do not acknowledge us as being His chosen people. And the days of demanding for them to give us, you know, fair treatment in the schools, fair treatment on our jobs, it's really unreal to me, because we've gotten to the point now where they're not going to treat you according to how they see you as being a superior. Because if we are the royal priesthood of the Most High, we're His chosen people, we're supposed to be the superior. And that's why they do everything to keep you under their feet. They want to keep you feeling superior. They want to keep you coming and pleading to them, begging to them to treat you fairly or treat your child fairly. And so, Brother Yakin, I agree with you, because at the end of the day, I've been over that for a long time. I was over that in 1996 when I started schooling my own children. Let me tell you what the kicker was. My daughter ended up, they were doing a science project or whatever, and they dissected an owl. They took the contents of the owl's stomach out. They dissected the owl pellet, and the owl had eaten a rat. And so they got my 4th and 5th graders sitting here playing through owl vomit. And I'm thinking, why the owl? Of course, we know that owl represents, you know, Astaroth or Molech. That's who they worship. So my granddaughter is dissecting this owl pellet. She has chronic asthma, and so the breathing the feces from the rat, the vomit, the from all of that ended up sending her into a chronic asthma attack. She ended up in the hospital with pneumonia in behind.
Wow.
And so that's when I said, no, I'm not sending my child, to come to school to do this type of twisted stuff. What is it? We know owls eat rats. We know that there's vomit and contents inside. What kind of sick behavior is this? So at the end of the day, I could not keep going to these people trying to make them operate according to the law or operate according to things that just seem like had common sense, because that's not their belief. Their indoctrination, their religious belief, their spirituality. They believe in science. They believe in that, in evolutions. I couldn't keep trying to kick up against their system. The word says, how can you bound a strong man unless you first take over his house? So you have to go and build your own house. And this is what we got to keep drilling into our people. All of that, we shall overcome, and we marketing and picketing for our rights and drawing up change. That stuff is dead. It has not worked. And the worst thing that happened to us is the same thing that happened to us during the time when we were coming into the promised land, and the Most High told us, do not mingle ourselves amongst the heathens.
Right.
We've mingled ourselves in so much with these people until now we think we should be pleading to them or talking to them or negotiating them to get them to accept us. They will never accept us because they're not our people, and we were never supposed to mingle with them. And this is why we're in this situation now. So come out from amongst them, separate yourself from them, and create your own Israel. We have to create our own Goshen because we're in Egypt.
Right. And you know what else, with what she's saying, also we need to make sure our army is in order. Because the one thing that is historic is that when we do step out and create our own, they are right to destroy it. Every time we getting bombed, we getting, fed to the wolves, if you will. They love to take what we develop and destroy. So I definitely believe in the school aspect, set up our own, but we have to make sure that all of the proper positions, I guess you would say, are in place, and definitely some sort of armed forces have to be overwatched because they love attacking us. They love it.
That's another area that I'm actually strong in. I'm actually former special forces. So yeah, I believe Brother Ryan is strong in that area too. We need to do that. But then also keep in mind that the book of Jubilees tells us about who the priest really is. The priest is really the one who executes judgment, righteousness, and vengeance. That's who we're supposed to be. So it's nice to be righteous and be able to skate through here sometimes, but sometimes you're gonna have to run roughshod over some of these people, and we just need to know how.
Beautiful perspectives, y'all. I'm loving it. This is good. Okay. Anybody else? Go ahead, James. Go ahead.
My thing is, all y'all right in what you're saying, but the thing is, it's building that foundation, because first the war is Yahweh, right? It just so happened I was listening to Luke today, and we gotta have swords, but right now we on a different phase of the war that we need to be dealing with. True enough, the education of our kids. like I said in the text, they're in the school all day, but they can't praise the Most High. So that's Babylon.
Right.
It's against their law.
Yeah.
That's right.
That child to go and pray. He may need to pray before he go get into a fight and pull a gun or whatever. Since you don't have that spirit in there, therefore you have what the shootings, fighting, and then you look at similar schools. Kids don't go outside. They get no sunlight. It's like a prison. They in maximum security.
Mm-hmm.
Doors locked. They building the schools that look like prisons.
Mm-hmm.
So, true enough, you need to be ready for the war. But right now, the battle is our battle is getting acknowledgement for ourselves. So you have these perpetrators that's on the street corner calling themselves Hebrews. So that's a misinterpretation of what people think Hebrews are. It's not a religion to be a Hebrew, and that's what people think. I don't believe the way the Hebrew. Dude, you are a Hebrew. Who you think you are? You don't even know who you are. You are a Hebrew, but they so caught up, as the sister said, in the world that they have to gravitate to what the world is doing, the religion of the world, every phase of the world or what's going on in the world. That's no one is realizing that the people that I call sleepers realizing who their nationality is. All I can say is we African. Okay, let's say we African then, because we was in bondage in Egypt. Let's say that. What African are you then? You're gonna be a Hebrew African. Still, when you get through, no matter where you are, you still a Hebrew. If you're in Timbuktu, you're still a Hebrew. That's the acknowledgement. We don't. Our kids ain't gonna never get that. First of all, they can't pray. You took 8 hours of their day to where they can't pray. But they can go pray to their God in the Catholic Church.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They got the land around it to build their schools. If you go down over there where the Catholic Church is, by Hall High School, they built 2 schools. They built a Protestant school right next to it. And all of them lived in that neighborhood before they moved out.
So let me ask this question, family. How do we get our schools started? As far as like any other school, like the Jewish, the Muslims, they have their own schools. How do we get our schools started?
Can I ask this question first?
Yeah, go ahead, James.
Because I wanted to get everybody's thoughts on this, but I wanted to kind of dive in some scripture or some thought on it. What are y'all thoughts on sovereignty, getting your own sovereignty, getting sovereignty? Because when I look at scripture, I know it's Deuteronomy 28 out there, but looking at Abraham, one of the chapters, like in Genesis 24, Abraham was a wanderer, and he didn't really have to make covenants with people. People came to him wanting to make covenants with him. He bought burial ground. He bought his own land. with his own resources, you know, and, you know, people came to him like different kings because they feared Abraham and how great he became. They wanted to make a covenant with him. You know, same thing with Jacob. Laban wanted to make a covenant with him because Yahweh was showing his faithfulness toward Jacob, you know, and getting all the cattle, most of the cattle that belonged to Laban, you know. Basically, Laban felt, you know, kind of like Jacob stole from him, but he didn't, you know. So it's like these men really wasn't bound like we are here in America. And it has a lot to do with the covenant we made or the covenant we got. Not just slavery, but our birth certificate. You know, like what it was a text I put out. One of the elders said like a motto about, and I think I erased it, but about birth, the certificate of birth, like it having that contract stating that we could, you know, at our birth we was it's a lawful thing. We're natural lawful people. So it's like that birth certificate has a lot to do with gaining our control, basically getting our power back. You know, like, you know, with sovereignty, that's basically what it is here in America. If we can attain back our birth certificate and own it and do whatever we have to do, I know they're gonna give us war for it, you know, because it's and I'm learning that it's a lot more we have to do for sovereignty, you know.
Yeah. So are you asking basically if this heathen gonna honor that sovereignty that we probably do have, but in his wickedness, in his beast system, this heathen is not gonna honor anything that's respectable. So we can pretty much count that out. Until the second Exodus comes and we get up out of here, that beast ain't gonna want to let anything happen positively to us in any shape, form, or fashion. Mm-hmm. So we can forget about him honoring anything that would be honorable or justified or you know what I'm saying, or something that he knows is the truth, because he is the same children that his father is of the devil.
And it's like I can agree with that too, because what I'm finding out, you know, with people that I'm talking to in a group, they're doing the sovereignty thing, but it's like they're finding out that it's a difference between having your sovereignty public and then having it private. So it's like you have to be private. You have to get it through a private person, somebody that's not dead. And then it's like if you do anything legal or illegal or legal and not lawful but legal, you know, you still end up back in the system. You know.
Right. That's their whole thing.
So
that's why they would have people go through their court system. Their court system they control.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. I mean, you know, that's what I've been trying to tell you for years, James.
And they seek to change laws daily. They change the laws. Right. As soon as they make them, they change them.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And keep moving.
And not only that, they make their own loopholes in their.
They do.
Right.
That we don't understand. Mm-hmm. And so really, when we're talking about sovereignty, what I would expect is that we need to do that as a nation, not individually.
Right.
We need to be growing our own food. We need to be hiring our own people. We need to be training up our own people, our butchers, our doctors. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about when I say sovereignty. I'm talking about a sovereign nation, not a sovereign person.
Right.
Right. And in the 20s, and the 30s, and the 40s, we had that.
Black Wall Street, Oklahoma.
We had Greensboro, North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina, Elaine, Arkansas. We had Oklahoma. We had multiple cities that were sovereign. But see, once we become sovereign, we see in the past, and we must learn from history.
Right.
Like your car said, that every time we became independent, self-sufficient, and pulled ourselves from the bootstrap, what did they do?
Yeah.
They came
and destroyed it.
Yeah.
So nothing that is in this heathen's ability to see what is right is going to even become a thought in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
See, we're talking about two different people here, two different species. See, we are talking about people who are God's chosen people, who follow the law, statutes, commandments, and then people who have never, ever did that, but worship pagan gods.
Exactly. And they operate from a total different perspective.
It's a total different value system.
They are liars and deceivers, and they will never be the truth to you.
Thank you.
Right.
So we can't ask this beast for nothing. Okay, family? We can't expect anything from any justifying honor system with this individual. So let's just say this. We start our own schools and we start our own curriculum, and guess what? They're going to come in some way and try to destroy that, just like their forefathers did in the past.
Right.
But this time,
we'll be
ready.
ready.
This time, we're going to be prepared for that war.
Exactly.
See, we ain't going to lay our arms down. We ain't going to put our hands up. Don't shoot. No, we're going to be shooting back with everything that we got, because we the most fiercest 300 gladiators that you ever seen. And that's what they're afraid of us fighting back.
Yeah.
No, actually, let me give a little bit more insight on that. What they're afraid of. Please pay attention, y'all, because I know those scriptures don't lie. The main thing that they're afraid of is us getting our godlike powers back, our Superman, X-Man powers. Okay? When you see in the word, when you saw how David slayed a giant, when you saw how Judah stomped his foot and he caused an earthquake, when you see how Judah screamed out in the book of Jasher and Jubilees, how he screamed out in Egypt and it busted out all the windows and it caused the women of Egypt to have miscarriages, their babies fell out of their wombs. When you see them, this is what they're afraid of.
Exactly.
And this is why you can't, I know everybody has this great idea like, y'all, we gonna get guns, we gonna get knives, it's not that you should be seeking. You need to be seeking to get back your ancestral Superman, X-Man powers that the Most High promised us. This is why Yahushua said, a greater work than this shall you be able to do. And I read in the lost book, it said that as long as you keep Israel sinning against their God and keep them sinning against their law, statutes, and commandments, you will be able to defeat them and keep them underfoot. It said, but the minute that they keep their law, statutes, and commandments, and they start to live righteous and walk upright before their Elohim, he said they are unstoppable. You cannot touch them. They cannot be touched. If Elijah was able to shut up the rain and stop it from raining cause a drought to fall upon the earth. See, these are the things you should be striving to get back. And if you get, this is what they're afraid of. So they keep them drunk, keep them fornicating, keep them sinning, keep liquor stores in there, keep them aborting their children and sacrificing their young unto the Molech. Keep them sinning against their Elohim, Yahuwah, and they will always be under your foot. But the minute you stop that, this is why your Oklahoma bombings, the Black Wall Streets, the reason why these places were tore down and destroyed when we built them up is because we did not know our Elohim. But now that we know our Elohim and we're keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, that's why he says, no weapon formed against you shall be able to prosper. They were afraid of our God, and they were afraid of our God-like powers. So if you're walking and you're breaking these curses and you're living according to the word of the Ruach, you can go and build as many cities and as many schools as you want to, and they cannot touch it.
Exactly.
They won't be able to come against it.
Yeah, we have to be obedient.
We have to be obedient, and that's your covering. And you, your brother James, you said about sovereignty. Where are you gonna go when sovereignty, when the whole earth is under this curse? Where all Israel is scattered to four corners. There's no sovereignty for Israel. The only sovereignty we get is going back to Yahuwah, going back to the laws, going back to the statutes and commandments, and separating ourselves from these heathens and barbarians and our oppressors' ways. And then you'll get complete reign and dominion over this earth, because you can't. You can break down what you can get sovereignty in America, but if you leave, where your sovereignty gonna go? If you go to Arabia, or if you go to Africa, the curses will follow you. That's what's got us under this affliction. It's the curses and our disobedience. But once we all become, and it only takes a few should become 1,000, 1,000 should become 10,000. It only takes a few of us to do this. It don't take all of Israel.
Come on.
If Simeon and Judah, the two of them, were able to go and slay and destroy a whole city,
city. Come on now.
City, because they raped their sister Dinah. Only two did this.
Yeah.
Two should put 1,000 to one should put 1,000, two 10,000. So if we don't get that in our spiritual DNA and start to believe that and rethink this, then we're gonna always feel like maybe we could try this, or maybe we could try that, or we're gonna keep feeling like that. But the power and dominion that you possess through these laws and keeping your obedience to the Most High is greater than anything they've ever seen in their life, and they're afraid of our Elohim, and they're afraid of us getting our powers back from our Elohim. Sorry, y'all, I didn't mean to go into a whole story.
No. That was need to be heard.
Yeah. Look, that was
Yeah. I want y'all to be charged. If you all understood, like the power that you possess through just knowing who you are and knowing your Elohim and knowing those laws. I know it might seem like, things are, but I'm telling you, we got to believe like our ancestors believe. We got to believe this so bad that if they test us and put us in a fire, we won't even get burnt up. We'll work out, not smelling like smoke.
Come on now.
Because the power of Yahuwah will cover us in all things. Nothing will be able to come against us. And I speak this with all sincerity because I see it daily. And I work, and I don't know if you guys, I've mentioned it before, I work for FEMA. I have to get on the phone every day and watch them change laws and tweak things for these people with these natural disasters. They tweak and they change laws every day. And those people call in thinking, well, y'all just said that if we give you this paperwork that you'll be able to help us. And then I got to tell my people, I'm sorry, they changed their mind that they're not going to do it that way anymore. Wow. And they're like, ma'am, I'm in the streets. My baby, we freezing out here. Disaster. We got rats crawling over us when we try to sleep outside. It's like, I'm sorry. They changed it, ma'am. Ain't nothing I can do. Wow. I see this every day. They make us for 30 minutes every day go and look and see if they've made any new changes. This is every single day they make changes to these laws, and these people call in and they're crying and they're elderly. And they're saying, please help us, man. Please help us. We out here, we don't got nowhere to go. We got holes in our ceilings. The rats is crawling. Sewer is coming up on our floors. We're living in our own waste. We got maggots in our houses. They screaming and crying every day. And all I can do is give them a new damn law that these people, a new rule that these people done changed up to keep them from getting the help that they want to give them, that they need to get. Wow. Every day, every single day. But then on the flip side, I see them tweak and change laws for their people. Yeah. The same laws that we get as Israelites in New Orleans and these areas where black people reside or Hebrew people. The white people don't get them same rules and regulations. They're different. They fund them money. They help them when they got money. They don't even need this kind of money. But they don't do that to us. I had to listen to grown men cry on the phone, crying saying, sister, I just need help. These people, I turned in everything they asked me. And tears are running down these brothers. They breaking down like babies on the phone. And I got to tell the brother, just be encouraged, brother. One day at a time. One day at a time. Like, but the last time I called, y'all told me this. I'm like, sorry, sir. It's something else this time.
Wow.
And that's what they do. So it's playing games, y'all. I'm telling you. And I ain't going to lie. There are days where I go to bed at night and I cry because I have to hear my people cry. And I got to call, and they say, it sounds like y'all just lying to us. And I want to just tell them, sir, they are telling us to lie to you. I want to say it so bad. They giving us new rules and everything to lie to my people every day. But when Karen calls in and she just wants to complain because she feels like her dishwasher is not running properly, they're going to fund Karen $3,000 or $4,000 for her dishwasher. But won't give a brother $3,000 or $4,000 to be able to stay and sleep somewhere where he ain't got to be worried about rats crawling over him in a house that's dilapidated by a disaster. Won't even give them FEMA trailers anymore. Tell them they can't have them anymore.
Can I say
People
this?
People calling in saying, can we get them? No, we can't have them no more. Not for you all.
Wow.
Can I say this?
Yeah.
Because a lot of like the scriptures say, you know, show my people they sin, show them their sin. So it's nothing wrong with showing them the law that they wrote before. You know, it's like it's a lot of laws and sovereignty that we don't even know about. That we have so much rights, so many things we can do. It's so much power in the affidavit. You know, just doing the affidavit rather than you know certain things, but we still throw out the idea of doing it because we stuck to Deuteronomy 28 or whatever. However, they do change the laws. We see it, you know, but still show them, you know.
I show them.
It's okay to show them, you know. It's okay to show them, but it's
job.
like still.
That's my job. It's my job to show them, you know, but when I tell you, and of course, affidavits are some things that they do have to send in to FEMA. But when they send in the affidavit and then they turn around and they call back and I got to say, I'm sorry, there's a new law. They changed that. That's the problem. And that's where they break out and start crying because they like, I done did everything y'all told me to do. I turned in the paperwork. I did all. I'm like, sir, I know. I'm sorry. And even my coworkers like, yo, why do we got to keep changing up stuff? Why are we discouraging these people? But it's not these people. It's our people. I don't see the same laws applying to people that are calling from New York and Connecticut and all of the richer upper states. They have total different setup.
Right.
But it's the ones that are in the South, the ones that are in the black states, like Michigan, where we're concentrated. No, they got their own different rules.
Let me get Duhar. He's been having his hand up for a while. Cause.
How y'all brothers and sisters doing? Shabbat shalom to y'all.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
What y'all was saying is perfectly on point. I would like to read two passages. What the sister was just saying is why our brothers and sisters are on the phone crying and calling you because they don't know who our first love, our soulmate is.
There you go.
Okay.
Deuteronomy 6, Deuteronomy 6, verse 4 through verse 9. Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah is our Elohim. He is one Yahuwah.
Yeah.
Thou shalt love Yahuwah thy Elohim with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thy heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently to thy children, and shalt talk to them when they sitteth in thy house, and when they walketh by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. Thou shalt bind them for a sign upon their hand, and they shall be frontlets between their eyes.
That's right.
And they shall write them upon the posts of their house and of their gates. So charity starts at home. We got to start teaching this in our homes and to our children.
Home.
That's the reason why they do all these things to the screw up the man and the woman in the household.
Yep.
It starts there. We got to pass this on to our kids, and then they got to learn how to teach them to their children. Because you think about it, our sisters and brothers, we are some of the best storytellers. That's why we the best comedians. We good at doing it. But we won't share our Father word, I share the things we supposed to be doing, though.
Yep.
Well, exactly.
And then if we go to John, Brian, you say it all the time. John chapter 4, verse 22 to 24.
Oh, yeah. My favorite verse.
You know not what, and what you know we worship. For salvation is for the Kadesh, or the set apart. But the hour have come, and now is when the true worship shall worship the Father
and
spirit and truth.
Come on
and
with
the Father seeks such to worship him. Elohim is a spirit. That may worship him, must worship him in spirit and truth. So see, we running and trying to be like folks that not even worship our Elohim. They worship other gods and stuff.
What?
That's what you gonna get.
Exactly.
And see, this is a spiritual walk. Come on, when we
there you
go
go.
in this world, we got soul ties with all this mess. That's why we can't break away from it. That's why he tell us we have to worship him in spirit and truth.
Spirit and truth.
And the thing about that, also, when we worship the Father in spirit and truth, we got to realize people that look like us are our enemy too. Come on.
Yeah.
All Israel ain't Israel.
Hey, okay.
That's right. Who said that? Who said that? All Israel ain't Israel.
Right. Yeah.
That is so true. That's scripture right there. You know, and that's the thing about it, that, you know, the common denominator is that Satan knows our power. And he does everything to cut off branches.
Yes.
See, Yahshua was the root. See, but he continuously cuts off the branches at every avenue. Now, it's up to us if we allow him to do that, because we got free will and free choice. See, now we ain't nobody got no excuse in 2022 to be ignorant in this time, because everybody got one of these. Everybody got a library on their hip, or in their purse, or in their pocket. So ain't no excuse. So you can, you know what I'm saying, you can, you know, have all these things that we want to do, but guess what? That's why Marcus Garvey failed. That's why Malcolm X failed. That's why Martin Luther King failed. And Medgar Evers failed. Jesse Jackson failed.
That's right.
Jesse Givlin Gravy, what's his name?
Sharpton, blow pop head.
Yeah, blow pop, Sharp. Bobblehead Sharp. You know, that's why all of them failed, because you know what? They weren't teaching about these laws, statutes, and commandments.
There you go. That's it.
They weren't teaching our people the real truth.
That's
and
right.
if the Most High would have gave them power, then they would have misled our people for another 400 years.
They sure would have.
So we have to realize that everything has its due time. Now is our time, y'all. Our 400 years is over with. We ain't got no excuses now. So we need to be building up these schools, because these people have shown day in and day out they have a vitriol for us. They have a disdain for us. An unnatural hate for us.
Yes.
So now we have to realize that, look, we're not wanting in the country club. Let's start our own country club. Let's teach our own children, because Malcolm X even said, you gotta be a fool to allow your enemy to teach your children.
Boom.
Exactly.
Yep.
So when we gonna stop being the fools? But like we all agree here, we all gotta get back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, because that's gonna be the only thing that keeps us separate and untouchable for the rest of the world.
That's
not just for white people, for the rest of these nations.
The world and the other nations.
Yeah.
All the nations conspired against us.
Thank you. Psalms 83, the Tomo. Come on now. There was a UN of nations against us. You don't think that's being carried out today? Yes, it's still being carried out.
Still being carried out.
Yeah.
So I want to hear from let me get Aunt Linda in here because she went through integration. How you doing, Aunt Linda? How you doing, sweetie poo? Turn on your mic. I know you're elderly, but we ain't gonna count that against you. Look, she still ain't counting. She still ain't turning it off. Hey, Linda, turn the mic on, huh, sweetie? Look, let me see. You know?
You turn the camera off. Come on in, hey Linda. You got it?
Get it together, baby.
Hit that.
Get it together.
It's probably on mute. Just hit that mute button.
Hit your mute button, Aunt Linda.
Unmute yourself.
Uh-huh.
Well, alrighty.
Okay, she's connecting
audio. Okay, come on, Linda. There you go.
I know.
Hey, we got her. All right.
I was so hungry, I had to eat.
Oh, okay. Well, she didn't want to be smacking in our ear, y'all.
I did not.
That's right. Y'all leave Aunt Linda alone.
How you doing, Aunt Linda? We love you, sweetie.
I'm blessed. I just want to listen tonight. What are you guys on now?
We're discussing if it's time for us to start our own schools because we see so many racial incidents and a lot of misteachings that have been taught to our children. So we're discussing, is it time for us to start making our own schools and pulling our children out?
I agree. I thought about that too when I was saying about the education. Some teachers don't want to teach about Black history, hear the real history. I said to myself, well, we ain't got to wait on them. We can start our own academy and teach our own what we need them to know. And it's about educating them what the world is about previously up to now. And that's all it is. And once they get that out the way, they can go for themselves on how they want to live their lives. But at least they know the history. I agree with that.
Right. Yeah.
But everybody's not going to, in the Black community, everybody's not going to join in like we would like to see them join in. There's some who misuse it. There's some who's not going to teach it correctly. And so we have to be very, and then there are some who's not going to be willing to come up with the money and so forth, or the avenues that's going to be needed, because that's a lot of work. So I'm hoping there's a group of people who dedicated to this kind of admonition to make it happen somewhere in the future.
I think Brother Ahmad, he'd asked like, what would be a good way to start it? The best way that I think you could start it and not get as much problems would be for you to set it up like you would set it up as a Hebrew Israelite, assembly or school. Like some churches have schools inside. You would set it up like that, and then that way it will give you your quote unquote, as they say, religious freedom. Like the so-called Jews, have their own religious. So you'll be able to teach our own Israelite culture, our laws, our customs, and then you'll also just add the math and the spelling and whatever. Add all of that into it. But if you set it up under the umbrella as it being your own cultural religious rights, as an establishment like that, and set it up like a school, like a church would, then I think that would be better that way. And they have a little bit more protection, rather than just trying to start a school,
And then that'll keep out the non,
right.
Because when it's their religion, they're going to back on out.
They're going to back out, right.
Yes, you're right. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Thank you.
But you have to also make sure, going on that realm, you have to also make sure that you do not solicit or receive any government funds.
Right.
Because if you
because you don't want no 501c3
or whatever, they will come in and say you have to follow these guidelines.
Yeah,
so
that's
you have to be totally independent.
So I guess we got to start a building fund, y'all. I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, this time it's gonna be for real. Like
it's gonna be for real though.
But you know, there are some way to pay your taxes. Let your tax money go in a certain avenue. We got to dig a little hard. There's a way, because these big corporations just didn't get away because they
loopholes.
They found some way to put their taxes into things that's going to benefit them, and I think we need to find out what that's all about.
I mean, if you
let me ask you, Aunt Linda and Mama, let me ask you, going into, because y'all lived through the era of integration, y'all were part of that. Let me ask you, was it, looking back now, of what y'all went through, was it worth it, or do you see that it was the wrong avenue to take? We should have stayed separate but equal in that retrospect.
Well, in my opinion, I think everybody has to play things out just to learn from it. And the way things were and the way we was lied to and kind of misdirected, it was okay. But once we recognized that we was misled, we should have gone back and turned that around, but we didn't, because some people's getting money, excuse me, some people's benefiting from that. So you didn't have the host who kind of was there, recognized, getting the recognition, helping the others. They said, well, I pull myself up, now you need to pull yourself up. And that's all through all generations, race that would do that. And I think that was the downfall. Once the recognized, the position people, movie stars, you can include all that, or Congress recognized that they had their position, they forgot about it. That's the way the system runs. They can get a few to go their direction, and then they can get them to cooperate, and then the rest is not counted. It's hard to count us in anything. That's the way I see it.
Well,
I think we made yeah. Go ahead.
Looking back, I feel like from the beginning, we should have separated. If we knew then what we know now, our leaders should have said, okay, we're going to separate, period. We're not going to depend on these people to educate us. We are going to build, just like these other states that built their own market and their own, Wall Street and all of that. We should have done that from the beginning and not try to force integration on them. Not integration, but equality. It was never meant to be integrated. It was always for equality. But we had to accept integration in order to get some equality. So I think if our leaders had known then what we know now, we would have done the separation then. And they would have known and been shown how powerful our Black economics was.
Can I ask you a question?
We spend a lot. We spend a lot. And if we spend on ourselves, for ourselves, what we spend for ourselves to them, it would be a different party.
Can I ask you a question too? On that subject, how back then, how was the books? Because I know they always made it an issue or a certain type of concern about how they had better books than we had. So what was that? Was that true, or did we have like some good knowledge in our books that could further us along than them, or that we could make it on our own? I guess.
That was true. Our books were secondhand, written in, secondhand, broken down.
I think that's kind of why.
That was integration back in the South.
Yeah, I remember having books written in and tip mitten, see Bill James hop run and all that stuff was scribbled over, and you'd be like, "What is this?" But then when I got moved into the white schools, was totally different. Education was way more better. I ain't gonna lie, it was better.
Yes.
It was more. You got better books. You got better education.
Some Black history.
Right.
But would that been okay? Like if y'all stayed that way, like would that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Because you lose your culture. That's the thing that you give up.
Oh, because they lied. They lied in our books.
Right. You lose you get the education, but you lose your culture. I had a stronger sense of identity when I was, surrounded with my own people. Like as far as it built up a certain level of confidence when I had my Black music teacher and I had my it was a totally different. You feel like when you're a kid and you're surrounded by all of your aunts and your uncles and your elders are teaching you feel like you riding on cloud 9 at that time. Mm-hmm. But then educationally wise, because they handed them the secondhand stuff, that you weren't able to get the knowledge and the teachings that was, going to be able to take you further. So this is personally what I spiritually think happened, and I still believe that. Yeah. I believe that the Most High just released his babies into the house of Pharaoh, like he did Moshe during that time, and they all got released into the house of Pharaoh, and we learned the inner workings of Pharaoh's house, so we can take it back and give it to our people to know how to bring down Pharaoh's house.
Because we come from slavery where we have no idea who we are, but in the later time it's going to be given to us who we truly are. But right now we so blank, we have no idea who we are, how to get started, what to do. We just been picking up pieces and patches to make things available to us, but we got a long walk to go, but we can't walk it by ourselves. So you're right. In your education, the books itself, I didn't learn about true essence of Black history until I got to college. And a lot of other students too across the board said, why didn't we learn this in high school? No wonder I didn't have interest in history or what the science was. It was better taught. And they asked then back in the 80s to change the books for the high school, put what is really understood, what the history is all about. And you see, they didn't do it then. And you see people who's demanding more now, that they are not going to allow it. They would shut down the schools before they be revealed. And so that's where it's going to be the tug of war. We're going to have to battle this out.
It made us take on the ways of our oppressor. Their culture. We embrace more of their ways. That's when we start talking back and getting all sassy and going off on our parents. And you be like, we didn't do that prior to that because we knew we was going to get some teeth knocked out, and we respected our elders, and we knew we was going to be laid out. So and when they said something, when a man spoke in his house, his word was bond. That was it. When nobody could challenge it.
So let me.
When we got with the Karens and stuff, then we learned how to be. Well, I think I feel as a woman, we didn't have all of that. We just be like, okay, baby, go do what your daddy said, and what he said is right, is according to the word, and we just left it at that.
So the system changed the law too. They changed the law. If a child get hit, they go to jail. See what I'm saying?
Go to jail.
So they changed the laws to fit in, so we could be discriminated. So we could act out. According to the, you got to remember, we're
report abuse. You can tell your teacher.
Yeah,
tell your teacher back then. You go tell your teacher she was Black. She gonna call your mom. You know this boy done called her and said you whooped him. You're like, you know what? Whoop him before he get home, and then I'm gonna whoop him when he get there.
So I got a question though. I got a question though. So, I mean, to get to the point where we're saying that start our own and have our own. So back then, though, who of our people was the smartest? Who had the knowledge of these other books that nobody could get their hands on to actually teach our people? Was it somebody like that? Did they stop that person, or was it ever somebody like that? Back then.
Oh yeah, the Black Panther was strong in the beginning.
Yeah, okay,
that's all I did heard about. They came in with their community. They orchestrated. And I remember I was in San Diego at the time. My kids were smaller, and they had little centers, in the Black community where kids go to school during the weekday, but on the weekend after school they go to these little classes, taught them karate, Swahili, and things and Black pride. So they had a lot of little things going on. That's why they destroyed them, because they was working in the community. So you had those people, you have your activists who wasn't so Martin Luther King, but more of the radical. But they were strong and teaching. There's all kinds of groups. They were called what was the other gang members?
Black Liberation Army.
Yeah, not so much, but it was another group. Even my mother recognized there was Black Panther. There was another group. Yeah, they was like gangs then, but they was gangs for fighting for the battle of the Black pride.
Yeah. Right.
And it was a lot of them got knocked down, and they came up and they popped up. And as soon as they pop up, the laws in the police department would knock them down. But they had strong fighters.
And not to mention, you had your teachers and your teachers and some of the people that actually went off to college and got an education. And then when they came back to teaching their community, they realized that the children and the curriculums that was given was secondhand.
Yes, yeah.
You know, so they knew.
Yeah, we had.
They knew.
I went to all Black school, all Black teachers, all Black principal.
And they knew, like, what is this? They're giving us subservient stuff.
What they did, they taught us how to survive outside of the school. We wondered, why are you pressing us? He said, because you got to learn how to deal with the segregation. And they prepared us mentally. And one kid went to college, won a class review. He said, you know what? Even when we was making C's, compared to other schools, we actually was making A's. That's how smart and how well diverse they had prepared us. Now the teachers don't care. So you don't get that upper hand from your school teacher and the principal. They was kind of silly in one way, but they were strong. They knew what we was going to have to go outside of school, what we had to face, and they prepared us. So mentally, emotionally, we had to readjust, but we knew how to come back and fight.
Because if they built up your character and they built up who you were as a person, the chances of you going to prison was very slim. The chances of you getting caught up in the trouble was very slim. So, you know, they worked on the soul as well as the mind, and that's the difference. We don't get our soul worked on no more.
And watch this. That is the main reason why they tried to destroy Bill Cosby.
Yep.
Because Bill Cosby single-handedly sent more Black children to college with his television program in the world.
That did push it.
In the past 40 or 50 years. See, now you have a situation. Now it's almost like England to say it's a tug of war. It's a tug of war. What now you getting ready to see? Deion Sanders is at Jackson State now. He got the #1 recruit in the country for football. Then he got the number four recruit in wide receiver in the country. Now, watch this. Now you're going to see if there's going to be an automatic investigation. See, whenever you start, because you know what Deion Sanders said that was so relevant? He said, we just taking back what's ours.
It's ours.
See, what did he do? What did he do, Deion? I heard a little bit, but I haven't heard it.
He's the football coach at Jackson State, Mississippi. So he's getting like the top 10 recruits in the country.
Oh, gotcha.
He's stealing. He's not stealing. He's taking back what is naturally ours. Like Bill Cosby did. He took the idea and put on the stage front that you can have a lawyer and a doctor as parents.
That's true.
And set an example. Deion Sanders is bringing back to HBCUs that we can have the top athletes. Y'all don't have to go to these Power 5 PWIs.
Really don't. I really wouldn't.
Because you should really be cherishing being cheered by 50,000 people of your own race than people who don't give a darn about you. Because if your knee get hurt or you break your leg,
they're ready to get rid of you.
They're going to toss you aside.
Yeah, well.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's all about making money for them. That's all it's all about.
So he's bringing back.
They're just a gladiator.
Yeah, he's bringing back. He's bringing back the competitiveness of the HBCUs now.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're gonna have. Now his son just got a deal with Gatorade.
DeAndre.
His son. His quarterback.
Yeah, DeAndre. We got history together. That's why I'm sitting here like, okay.
Okay.
I know.
Remember I told you when we first started talking, I used to live amongst the ball players. And
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. I still appreciate some scriptures that brother was reading. So.
Yeah, so what you see now is we get back. See, this is the thing right here, y'all. You gotta understand. When football players, basketball players, black athletes coming out of high school, when they go to these field trips, I call them field trips, to these white college intuitions. When you go there, they throw these white girls at you. That's why you see all these college athletes marrying these white women, because they're thrown at them. But Deion is single-handedly changing the dynamic now, and he's at the HBCU now. He's got several NFL coaches or NFL players who have become HBCU coaches now. So now you're seeing a lot of black players starting to go back to HBCUs.
So you going back to black women too?
Yeah, they're going to go back to black women because why? Because they're around black sisters. You know what I'm saying? They're not being thrown, these white girls, at these HBCUs. You see, that's going to change the whole dynamic in the interracial dating in itself. Because they're going back to their sisters, to their own people. See,
okay, go ahead, Ryan.
But no, I just wanted to say that because I see the Most High working, and He's bringing us back to who we really are, our pride in ourselves and our people, knowing that we are great people who have come with the greatest inventions in the world. We are powerful beings, but the Most High is...
You laughing at me, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, He's shifting. He's shifting the paradigm now to where we are coming back to our own. We're not having to go to these white institutions to be validated now. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of us think that we have to go to white institutions to feel like we got a better education.
Yeah, well, that's the way it was set up. Yeah.
But guess what? These people don't care about you. They don't want you in their white institutions.
But see, that goes back to why I said I believe.
Yeah, that's why I never understood how our black people doing integration will go sit at Woolworths and ask for something to eat, knowing darn well they spit in your food. Why would you want to even go to a white institution?
Not in Woolworths, not because we had black folks work behind them counter. They ain't spit in our food. We didn't have that. I didn't have that.
You got to spit in there.
But then going back to what you were saying, Ryan, just like you got Deion and they're going to try to shut him down, we had leaders like that too, and they shut him down, and then they needed the money, so they bought into the system. Everything is systematic. I don't care how much you dig and whatever, is going to go right back to how the system is set up for you to stay on your side of the fence, and they're going to stay. And if they don't have it in law, they're going to make it a law. So until we come together and fight hard enough.
Yeah, because that Illuminati dude, he gonna hit.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Yes, it is.
I'm telling you, I ain't trying to rain on your parade.
No,
but
you're right.
I know some stuff about that dude, y'all.
There you go.
I promise you.
Thank you. And that's true. That's what we have these little stuff. That's right. I agree with you. And so you're gonna have somebody gonna come in, sell out, and tear it down until you get some strong people who really committed to what they want to do, and then kick them out when they don't want to follow through. Don't allow them to come in just because they got the money or reputation or, we always need the reputation. No, start out with nothing. And stay on the low. Yeah, you don't need the reputation and where we can get seen. No, you don't need to be seen. The Most High gonna bring it to you. You don't need to worry about what people.
Right.
Sure don't need him.
We don't need them. That's the problem.
How about this?
Let me get Rodney in. Shabbat shalom, Rodney. How you doing?
Shabbat shalom, brother Rodney.
Hey. Hey, how about the flip side of this? Okay, I hear what you all saying. I only been here for a minute, but I think I got the hang of what you're talking about on this topic. You're like, I put in the chat, I said that Blondie got their kryptonite, and the brothers are falling for it.
I saw that. Yeah.
That's what I was laughing at, sis.
They have a choice, don't they? They have a choice. Yes, they do.
But he's right, though.
He's right.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
got that going on. And then, one thing that's helpful, whatever you want to say about Sanders, one thing he understands is that system. That's why he's able to do what he's doing. Because he played in that system. He knows how it goes. He's not foreign. That's not foreign to him. He knows how it works and he knows how to game. So, regardless to, whatever, personally about him, I don't know him. So, I can't speak.
Right, you don't. That's all right. I ain't going to speak on it either, but I do know.
Only thing I can speak on is that what he's doing is changing the dynamic. Because what he's doing is fighting them at their own game without the resources they have. Because, I've been HBCU campuses, but you can say what you want. Just going on one of these SECs or Big Ten or Pac-10 campuses, that's impressive.
Yep.
You go in these places, you get to see them, everything's state of the art, it's huge, it's big, banners everywhere. Of course, they get the girl there.
Visual.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, but you can't fall for those material items.
But they do. But see,
I know, but you can't fall for that. Yeah, go ahead.
I hear what you're saying, but that's exactly what's happening. They are falling for that because that's what they offer them. When you bring in these kids in, most of them look like us, and they come from situations, and all of a sudden you got the big shiny light is sitting there.
Good credit.
You've been trying to get this since you were in Pee Wee. And now here's this coach that you only saw on TV or in footage who's standing next to you or sitting across the table from you and saying, son, we want you.
Good credit.
And even notice that word right there, son. Because so many of us, if you have not grown up without a father, that is a powerful word to use. So you have these men promising, hey, I'm going to take care of you, blah, 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 They want you to be a part of the money machine. Granted, you're not going to make a dime off of it. He's making millions of dollars a year being a coach.
Right.
But you are told you can get a free education. So you come in and you start thinking about, man, if I can just get in, just be good for a couple of years, I can get in the league. I can look out for my mama and them, and everything is good. So to say that you can't fall for that. The problem is that's exactly what they came here for.
Yeah.
They stayed healthy, they worked out, they played the games, they dealt with everything they had to because they got a plan and they know that they get all these people riding on their backs. And they know that, so they're going to exploit that. Knowing most of them not going to make it into the league, but hey, you're here. So that's all I wanted to say, about that. But I do appreciate what he's doing because he's upsetting them because they thinking, hey, the HBCUs they can't hang with us, which is my cat, which is very true. But at the same time, what's going on at this point in time, what he's doing, I wish him success with it because if you can start breaking the backs of all of this and these kids. By them coming there, it can only benefit everybody. The kid, the school, all of that. So I see it. I kind of see the upside to it, but of course, Blondie ain't there. But hey, so you got to work with what you got.
But Rodney, let me bring it back to what we what the whole podcast was founding on.
Yeah.
The whole
we went a whole nother way. We went on the football and Dion. If I know that's what we get on here about, I'd have been like, I'm gonna tap out.
Yeah, it's about how.
No, it's not.
We should if we should pull our children out of these public schools, or should we leave them in and just teach them from home, about, who they are, and or should we just start our own schools? So that was the
first hand. I have firsthand experience with teaching at home, and that is not easy. Not for me. Maybe for you young kids, it is. But
Mama, you ain't got no patience. You ain't got no patience.
It wasn't hard for me.
You ain't got no patience, Mama. I'm a victim.
Okay.
That's all.
Said you the victim.
But teaching's not for everybody. We have certain people gonna have teaching now.
Right.
And it's but the up and up on it is exactly what Sister Thomas said. We can build all the schools, we can build all the communities that we want, but until we go turn back to Yahweh and you're sure, nothing is going to stay solid.
It sure won't.
And in order for us to even try to get started, we have to pull our power from the blessings of Yahweh. We're going to have to. We cannot depend on ourselves to do anything
without his lead. That's true.
Without him.
Right.
So, first of all, we all need to pray. We have all these good ideas. We all have these good impressions of what it should be, and we all want the right thing. But it's going to take our prayers, our fasting, and our commitment to the laws, statutes, and commandments, and recognize him for who he is and put it on his back. He said that he will, if you give him your burden, he will solve them. So
yes, right.
We need to give it to him and let him come up with a direction and also a path for us to take. So let's put it all
in his hand,
in perspective, put it back into his hands and let him lead us.
Yeah.
While we on that note, can I read this scripture?
Hold on, let me get too hard because he had his hand up.
Okay.
So we talking about Deion Sanders, but Abba tell us to test the spirit. And so is Deion Sanders calling on the same Elohim as we are? And is he doing the Father will? Because see, he part of this system. Because
he part of the Illuminati system.
He not on TV with Nick Saban for no reason. Them commercials.
That's it.
It's a plan.
It's right. Thank you.
So we have to be careful with it.
Exactly.
They always gonna put our face, put us to the front and center, and that's their last objective. They want to take over the HBCU schools.
Sure. They have just about done that. Yes, they have.
Let me ask you a question. Just one question. I know. James is going, so I'm not going to try and filibuster. I just got a question about that. Is Deion Sanders' role to be a moray, a pastor, or some leader, or is his job to be a football coach?
Well, that depends, because when I knew him, he opened up his own Bible study in Plano, Texas, and people were going to actually hear him preach. Yeah. So I don't know what he's planning on doing now.
But that's not the role he's playing right now.
We don't know. That's just the point. When you have people that are not linked up to Yahuwah, they got a lot of hats.
Right. What I'm talking about is his role as a football coach. I'm only dealing with that. I'm saying, is that? Yeah. I mean, hey, I'm not caping for this guy. I'm not a fan, man. I don't really like football.
I don't need.
But the thing I know, I've never really been a fan of that.
But you know what? Even if his role is only to be a coach, we're not trying to establish a school just for the world's view. We're trying to establish something where Yah is the head leader of all what we do and let the world recognize we're not doing this back. So Leon or Dion or whatever his name is, he can do whatever he wants. However, I wish him success. But the point is that we're not trying to establish that kind of school or recognition. We need to recognize who Yah is in our lives and let the world know. And if you let the world know, don't you know God gonna put us up in front of everything else? Because we recognize and praise him. So Dion or Leon or whatever his name is, he can be whatever
Leon.
Zion.
Okay.
We need to worry about Zion.
Whatever he wants and let him go that whatever. So we won't recognize that. If they don't speak, if they don't recognize who y'all in their conversation, we have nothing to do with it.
We got nothing to do with them.
Go on.
Those are
Balaams. Go on. Yeah, we don't need that. Yeah,
I can't wish him the best, not if he at that school and he pushing them young men, them kids to get vaccinated and stuff.
Whoa.
We forgetting about that.
Whoa. Yeah, and they're gonna have to follow that for sure.
So
that's state
like
law.
I said earlier, just because they are our skin color don't mean they are people. Are they doing the Father's will? And we gotta be aware of that. That's what have got us in trouble so much because they look like us and they talk like us.
Yes.
We think they got our best interest in heart, and they don't. We got to do what the Father tell us to do.
But I want to separate. I want to separate because I'm not looking at him as being a leader. I just wanted to point out the dynamic that he's doing. That these white supremacists is beside themselves. The little that he is doing. You understand what I'm saying? In other words, in their eyes. He is taking their commodity. That's what I was just talking about as far as...
So you're talking about the set apart type of...
Right. I'm talking about just football.
Separate from what they're doing. I get
it. Yeah. He's breaking up the stranglehold on these Power 5, big collegiate schools getting our best athletes. You know what I'm saying? Brothers, you're in and you're out. So I just wanted to point that out, how it's a shift going on, and these white supremacists are basically losing their mind.
Yeah, the separation. That's what I did.
They're losing their minds. So I just wanted to point that out. I'm not caping for him. I don't know, I don't know who, as far as he's, religious or, I don't know any of that. But I do know that he's causing them to have some fits and sleepless nights. These other white
because he's taking their money. That's the only thing he's
taking their money. Exactly. He's taking their money. Reggie.
It's 11 o'clock.
You got your hand up, brother.
James.
I was just gonna say that because of Deion Sanders, they're gonna play UAPB, and both of them getting $500,000 to play that game. So he bringing that revenue, whatever he doing, to that school. And because of him, he's bringing that revenue to UAPB. I was listening to it today, and so hey, you see what he's doing.
And see, UAPB is run by the University of Arkansas, so it's in the white man's hand. It's no longer a black school.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yep, and Philander Smith ran by Hendricks.
That's right.
And it's all ran by the Rothschilds.
Yeah, James, what you had to say, brother?
Well, I wanted to share this scripture. Psalm 119, verse what was that? 33 through 40.
Okay.
It says, "Teach me, Yahweh, the meaning of your laws, and I will obey them at all times. Explain your law to me, and I will obey it. I will keep it with all my heart. Keep me obedient to your commandments, because in them I find happiness. Give me the desire to obey your laws rather than to get rich. Keep me from paying attention to what is worthless. Be good to me as you have promised. Keep your promise to me, your servant, the promise you make to those who obey you. Save me from the insults I fear. How wonderful are your judgments. I want to obey your commands. Give me new life, for you are righteous.
Hallelujah.
Very good.
Laws,
Very good.
Hallelujah.
We can see David's mindset was zeroed in on those laws and those concepts because he knew that first seek ye the kingdom of heaven and all its righteousness and all these things shall be added unto you.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
So keep your mind on those laws and that word is the main thing.
Yeah.
Everything else will come out of that.
Brother Rodney, get your hand up, brother.
Why it's not a black hand? No.
That's right. Y'all could at least been, you know what I'm saying? As a team. You know what I'm saying? Represent your people. Not the put a fist up there. Put a black fist.
The bias there.
Hey, I was thinking, I was listening to what you all were just saying. Reminded me this morning, while I was reading Nehemiah 8 and chapters 8 and chapter 9. And,
that's my favorite. Come on.
And I remember even in our morning prayer, I talked about that for a minute. One thing that we have to understand is that, and as the Imam already brought out, is that the fact is we need to return back to Yah's way. I even I'm looking at Nehemiah 9 and 26. So I'm not going to read all of this. This chapter is too long. But one thing that they were aware of when Israel decided to return back to the Most High, it said in Nehemiah 9 and 26, it said that, but they became disobedient and rebelled against you and cast your Torah behind their backs and then kill your prophet who had warned them to bring them back to yourself, and they worked great blasphemies. Then you gave them into the hand of their enemies who distressed them, and in the time of their distress, when they cried to you, you heard from the Shamayim, and according to your great compassion, you have gave them their saviors who saved them from the hand of the enemies. But after they had rest, they turned back to do evil before you. Then you left them in the hand of the enemies so that they ruled over them. And when they turned back and cried out to you, you heard them from the heavens, through the Shamayim, and you delivered them according to your compassion many times, and warned them to bring them back to your Torah, but they acted proudly and did not obey and sinned against your right rulings. If a man does, he shall live by them, and they gave the rebellious shoulder and their hard necks and would not hear. Our biggest issue is the fact that we have abused the covenant. Our biggest issue is that, yes, we have the luxury of saying we didn't know. And now the Most High had to he had to make good on his prophecy, because he knew if we were separated from our culture, our language, and our instructions, we would eventually forget all about them. So he knew that he had to build a fail-safe in there where he would draw his people back, as it is prophesied. He would bring Israel back. The dry bones. The stories. He said he'll bring his people back from the four corners of the earth, and he's restoring us now. So in this time, the thing is, the Most High is looking to bring a total restoration of his people back. But this time, when we walk through the dalet, the door, we don't walk back out. You go into the Father's house and you stay there. He's calling us to go back to the Beit Av and remain in home. That doesn't mean we're going to get up in a corner and be scared and just huddle together like some doomsday prepper. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that he's changing the mindset of his people. That's why we're divorcing these religions. We're coming out of these situations. But as we come along, there will still be those who won't. Remember, even when they were leaving Egypt, everybody didn't go.
Everybody died in the wilderness.
But even outside that, some people never left.
They even got to leave out.
They never left them. They never left the land of bondages. They never left Mitzrayim. Never. They weren't going. All of Israel didn't empty out the house. Some folks stayed.
Yeah. That's right.
And even in that, some of Some of the sons of Ham, some of the Mizrahites, they went with Israel. So see, that's what the Most High is doing at this point. He's restoring us, and like my brother said a minute ago, the quote what my mom used to always say is, all skin folk ain't kin folk.
That's right.
We can argue the whole thing about who's Ham and all of this, but I'm talking about inside the house. I mean, those who would be Israelites. Everybody ain't on the train.
Right. All Israel ain't Israel.
They refuse to do it. They're so bound to their system. The system they're so wrapped up in it. I'm not speaking on Deion Sanders. I don't know, but I can tell you this is that people who have a lot invested in the system are not quick to leave.
Yeah.
And at that, you need people to be there with you. You can't be there by yourself. Even Hasatanas are going to take people into damnation with him.
Right.
But that's why in this hour, and somebody brought up the thing about some of the things they're all with good ideals. The problem is, I would tell you, this is my thought. Israel is not a nation at this point. Why do I say that? Because the nation is fully functional, it's self-sufficient, it's able to take care of itself, it can do all those things. We're not there. And I'll even tell you this. We're barely even a community at this point. Because we're still trying to figure out, we're still trying to wake up. Some of us, we're still trying to figure out how to keep the 10 Commandments.
Right.
Hey, nobody's perfect. Nobody's flawless up with that. We're being perfected by them. But none of us are flawless. Look, and people always talk about, I can't keep the 10 Commandments. It's too hard. I can't keep the commandments. Well, I just got a question. Which commandment can't you keep? Is it stealing? I need to know that because I don't need you in my house. Is it lying? I really don't want to deal with you. Is it murder? I definitely don't want you in my presence. You can't control yourself. You get stabby. Look, we're in a place now where we have to. The Most High is going to continue to separate the sheep from the goats. And I'm gonna be quiet and anybody, you can look this up. One thing that's different here in America or in this part of the world, sheep and goats look completely different. You can tell one from a distance. Well, if you look at the ones that are over in Northeast Africa and the so-called Middle East and throughout the land, sheep and goat from a distance all look the same.
Right. Yeah.
And it's only when you get up close can you see the difference. So that's something we have to take into account as we deal with each other.
Great point, brother. Hey, Ryan, are you still awake?
There you go, night.
I don't know. He might have went night. Ryan. Yeah. Come on. Okay, that's Ryan Jr. That's my son, y'all.
And then he went right back home.
He went night.
Junior, I want to ask you a question. I'm putting you on the spot.
I'm listening.
Okay, Junior goes to UAPB.
You had to call him Junior. Okay.
Yeah, Junior goes to UAPB just last year, HBCU. I want to know his thoughts on this issue. How does he feel going to an all-black school as far as an all-white school? Would he rather went to an all-white school, or did he see the benefit of going to an all-black school?
Yeah, I definitely love going to HBCU. I feel more comfortable.
Okay, can you expound on that?
I mean, that's just what it is. I just feel more comfortable. I was around people that I, relate to more. So it was, way easier going to HBCU than going to PWI. Plus, I got plenty of friends that go to PWIs, and if they could go back, they'll definitely go to HBCU. So
they told you that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I see that our young, brothers and sisters, they starting to see that they need to be around their own too. So that's why I want him to chime in. But I think that we need to start setting up the mechanisms to start, like you said earlier, you need to start putting that foundation down, getting our buildings together and starting our own church. Well, let them call it churches, but starting our schools, assemblies within those schools, within those assemblies.
Right.
Because, it's getting worse and worse every year. You already see that they are fighting against critical race theory, which has been taught for years. That's nothing new. But now, it's in the media and it's on the forefront. They having a hissy fit about it. So I see that we need to really just start at this point. We need to separate, because it's getting more and more prevalent every day that these school teachers, it's almost like when Trump got, I know it's always been here, but when Trump got in office, it's almost if they went on like 10 levels of new arrogance and audacity, against people, our people, black folks. Because I'm not even going to say melanated people or people of color. No, I'm saying black folks, Negroes, us. So I see that we need to separate right now, because it's only going to get worse. It ain't going to get no better. Like Martin Lewis said, it ain't going to get no better. Yeah. So we need to start setting those things up, and then we'll see. Like you said, you need, now you in the, second, third generation of homeschooling?
Yeah, second generation. I homeschooled mine, and now my grandchildren are being homeschooled.
Right. See, that's the beautiful thing, because I guarantee you their whole idea of life and history and understanding of education is completely different than people that's been in public schools. I know, I already get it. I get it.
Totally different. Yeah.
And that's a good thing. They're not programmed. They're not brainwashed.
Mm-mm.
See, and I just think that we really need, and me and King, we're gonna start working on that, because that's been my idea. I've been looking at buildings already to start that. Because it's a lot of black folks, y'all. Believe it or not, it's a lot of black folks who have already started their own schools, charter schools, or little schools.